Give me names, because, I mean, who wants to coach in the New York City metropolitan area for an ownership group that's been there, done that, doesn't like firing anybody, likes giving you some lead time? There's a terrific quarterback, Malik Neighbors, Scadaboo coming back from injury. There is a general manager already in place, so you'd have to work for that guy who's hiring you. You're not bringing your own person, one would think. Well, give me some names here, Albert.
So, like, I think we start here. Like, you're right. It's an attractive job. It's a Tiffany franchise. Whatever value that might have to you, that you be, coaching for, a flagship team. Like, it's a flagship team. It's there with the Steelers and the Cowboys and the Packers as one of the NFL's flagship teams. So that's certainly, part of the equation. There's good talent on hand. Depending on how high you are in Jackson Dart, they have a franchise receiver in Malik Neighbors, a franchise left tackle in Andrew Thomas, and franchise players along their defensive front, and Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and they expect Abdul Carter to get there. That's a lot of premium positions that are taken care of. Whether or not you want to coach in New York, I think kind of depends on your personality, and there's some guys that are fits and some guys that aren't. So with all of that established, they're going to cast a wide net, because they've found that, like, searching in one box hasn't really helped them of late. They tried the young rising offensive assistant with Ben McAdoo. That lasted 2 years. They tried the retread coach and Pat Shermer. That lasted 2 years. They tried the Battleship Commander CEO and Joe Judge. That lasted 2 years. Now they go back to offense, Brian Daboll, and that lasted a little longer, but didn't end any better. So, like, that's what the 2 months is going to give them a chance to look in a lot of different areas for the next head coach. I think they'll look at some college coaches. Like, I think Marcus Freeman, could be somebody that would be, of interest to them, because there are Notre Dame connections in that building. And, Marcus has the kind of, the presence that I think they would look for in that market. Lou Anarumo has connections to the organization, was in Miami with Joe Shane, is from your beloved Staten Island.
That's right. Susan Wagner High School. Went to high school with my brother, Jeff Eisen. Yeah, man. I went to high school with his sister, Elena. See how I'm talking Staten Island.
Lou, I think, is somebody who has the connections, the experience in the market that I think makes some sense. Mike McCarthy is one that I look at, and if you're looking to stabilize things, I mean, if his worst offense was winning 12 games a year for 3 years in Dallas, like, maybe he's somebody that you look at as somebody who can kind of stabilize things for your young quarterback and build a really good staff.
What about Lane? What about Lane Kiffin?
And Lane is so. I love it. From an entertainment perspective, there are two names that I think would be great for me.
I know the other one too. So you just go for Lane, and then I'll give you the
other
one.
Our purposes, okay. Lane and Belichick are the two.
Oh, Belichick. I thought you'd go Gruden.
No, for entertainment purposes, those would be the best ones, right?
Okay.
Like Lane and Belichick, because Bill's obviously got the connections to the organization. He reveres the Giants. He's got a personal relationship with John Mara.
Yep.
I just don't know that they can go down that road. But I think Bill would walk on hot coals to get that job. Lane is interesting because Lane has NFL experience, has been a head coach in a lot of different places, has built a program on his own, has developed quarterbacks, and not just Jackson Dart. But if you look at it over the course of his history, I mean, going all the way back to SC and Matt Leinart, and I believe he was with Carson Palmer all the way back then. Like this is a guy who has been on the ground floor and developing quarterbacks. And so, like, he checks a lot of boxes. My only question is it a personality fit? What do you think?
I don't know, man. It really just depends on what the Giants want to do here.
Right. If they're okay with...
If they want to just say, let's go completely far afield of what we've done. There is Lane Kiffin. There is John Gruden. There is also, obviously Belichick. You go back to certain roots, but that comes with, a lot of other things that you'd have to buy into, even though he is going to be a Hall of Fame head coach on your sideline. You know what I mean? Because he's going to be named to the Pro Football Hall of Fame prior to the Super Bowl this year, prior to what I imagine the Giants making an announcement on this front. But, I got one more for you that I'm sure Steeler fans want to know about.
Tomlin?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, now I know we're really stirring things up, but you know how Steelers fans have been talking about this and that his, and who knows what he wants to do. at the end of the year.
Let me preface this by saying, like, I haven't heard
I bet.
that
I'm sure not.
there's going to be a trade on the table yet. But I
Oh.
have heard in past years that like teams were going to check in on that. Like, over the last 5 years, I'd say I've heard of a few teams going into hiring cycles being like, oh, we ought to check in on that, like, and see if there's a way to work something out. Like all things run their course, right? Like, so he's been there. This is his 19th year, which is crazy. I mean, he's been there, I think, 5 years longer than Bill Cowher was there, which is like wild and makes us all feel old.
Yes.
I think there is a reason to believe like it could happen now or soon, though. And that's that you've got this group of players that they have now that are all older, and there is a reset coming, And so after Aaron Rodgers and TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and Jalen Ramsey and all these guys are gone, there's going to be like a significant retooling that's going to happen. And that's when you ask those big picture questions. If they were running off like, playoff wins and all that different stuff, like, and you had a core of guys who are 26, 27, 28 years old, we'd be talking about that differently. That's not where they are. So like when you're talking about like rebooting, that's not like a 1 year thing. It's like, yeah, I'm in this for the next 4 or 5 years. And when you're at that point, it causes people to naturally ask those big picture questions. So again, like I haven't heard yet that they're going to be at that point, but like just speaking from like a big picture perspective and the way the natural course of things go sometimes, like this would be the point where the Steelers would ask those sorts of questions coming out of this. Like I'm saying, like when this core of players starts to filter out.
And assuming that what everybody is assuming does happen, that the Ravens are going to run down the Steelers here, and the Steelers are going to have a finish that leaves the fan base wanting more once again. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.